So, for the Commodore stuff, where is that? Here it is. Been working on this game off and on. As soon as it finishes compiling here. Oops, it decided to do a real weird sizing thing. What the even is this? Okay, it didn't show up like it should have. There we go. This is the retro debugger suite, which has a lot of useful debugging stuff for Commodore and other similar retro devices. Looks like I have a slight timing error here. Maybe. I need to switch screen modes about maybe 12 cycles later. Anyway, my next big to-do on this thing is I actually add the hostile life forms into here, which should show up when that counter in the bottom right expires. I haven't done that yet, so that is the next thing that I'll be working on here. Just get the timer to expire. I have the kind of coming soon warning appearing with the flashing indicators and having it scroll the map to the locations where those things will be appearing from. But when the timer actually expires, the game just pauses because I don't have it doing anything there yet. So, what do I need to do for that? I think I'm already loading some sprites for it. Let me see if I can find my sprite definitions for it. Threat sprite start is 2. I actually have an animated sprite set for threat, but I don't know. That I actually have. Oh, I see. Threat sprite start is actually the runtime sprite index that I'm using. Here is our actual sprite data definition. So I'm loading it in here after those threat worms after the warning sprites. Because that should show up in our memory map that randomly decides to work sometimes. And then disappear. It's part of cluster UI sprites, I guess. I don't have them separated out, but they're in towards the end here of this block at 5800. So what do I actually need to do? I should probably figure that out from my to-do list. According to my to-do list, have threat appear at turn 0, change music, and continue game. Well, that seems like a reasonable place to start. So when the turns get down to 0, I can probably. So I need to find where my turn checks are. Initialize threat warning. It's called from check threat arrival warning. Yeah, process end of turn is doing a bunch of this stuff, like checking for pirate attacks, checking for the threat arrival warning, and I guess I should be checking for threat arrival somewhere. I wonder why I don't have this in the threat, in the actual threat file. Well, I'm going to put the check threat arrival in there anyway. Check arrival. Check arrival. Or I could just do it from in here too and just have this check both things. Yeah. Threat arrival warning turns left. Actually, I should see what I'm doing, figure out what I want to do with this after it. Oh, yeah. And current turn count. How about instead we do load the current turn count into A and then compare the arrival warnings turn left. Well, so we'll load the current turn count. If the turn count is 0, then we'll just branch straight into threat arrival. Threat arrival. If it's if it's not 0 and it matches the threat arrival warning turns left, then we go do the show warning and all that stuff. But threat arrival. Decrement current turn count. I need to figure out what I'm doing with current turn count. Probably the end of turn where we decrement current turn count. I probably want to stop doing that if the turn count is -1. That way I can have a maximum turn count of like 254 without having to worry about it continuing to be 0 or other weirdness. Yeah, we'll just compare it to -1, and if it's equal level -1, we'll skip past the decrement. Skip. Wait, skip turn decrement is already a thing? I guess so, but this is sort of different because we still want to process our end of turn stuff. Actually, yeah, I guess I already had a turns ran out check here. Maybe it makes more sense to put that there than have it share with the check arrival. See, arrival. Yeah, I just undo all this. So decrement current turn count. If turns ran out, See, this is after process and return when we do all this other stuff. We could actually do all this before, but I think I want to do it kind of after the end of turn. So yeah, we'll do process end of turn. We'll pull our processor flags. We'll branch if turns ran out. And then I still need to not decrement this though. I could either edit the code. I could actually runtime edit the code to just not decrement it anymore. I could put an immediate bit instruction in here, but that seems silly. So turns ran out. What do we want to do? Might just be easiest to add a variable for when threat is here. So I'll probably I'll wind up probably needing to check it in several places, and it will be just easier if there's already a variable there. Or, although it also still just check for negative 1. I just decrement it again. Maybe I just don't want to do any of this way at all. Process end of turn. Not sure why I'm waffling so much on this little tiny detail. It's an easy trap to get into in you're fiddling with assembly stuff, but how about if it's already 0? Now get rid of these pull and push things. If it's already 0, then we'll just turn already 0. Skip decrementing it. And we can look at the current turn count to know if we're 0. Then we'll still process end of turn. And in process end of turn, we'll check for threat arrival there. Or not. Push flags there. And after process end of turn, we'll pull flags, and then if we were and we don't know if we're already 0 there. I think having to vocalize what I'm thinking aloud is making it a lot harder for me to figure out what I'm doing here. Because I want to, I'll just make threat arrived a variable. Where's our first 0 initialized values, after 0 initialized variable values? Okay, so threat arrived. 0. So threats arrived. We're gonna threat already arrived. They'll probably save me effort to be able to just check threat arrived later anyway. Otherwise, we decrement the current turn count. If the current turn count is 0, oops, I'm doing my pushes and my pulls backwards. Yeah, I think I am not in the right headspace to be doing this kind of programming right now. Anyway, we'll check if threats arrive and save that off for later. And then so if threat hasn't arrived, and if the end of turn is 0, basically if threat arrived is 0 and the turn count are both 0, so we'll OR those together and then check the 0 and threat arrive and do threat dot threat start threat arrive, start threat arrive, JSR that. Get rid of this turns ran out thing because we don't need that anymore. And we'll make this actually jump and do the built-in RTS with the built-in RTS. Okay, so then we'll try the actual threat arrival. Initialize threat warning. Start threat. Okay. So when threat arrives, one thing I want to do is change the music. I'll probably want to make a fade for that, but for the moment, I'll just swap music tracks directly. But need to find here's my list of music. Okay, threat arrival and threat present is subtune 2. Subtune 2. Music. Set music data and then LDA. Okay, so I LDA the subtune +1 and then call and save that into play routine. Probably the smart thing would be to look at the actual comments on this thing. Can I do that from here? Maybe. But VA 3, play subtune 2. Oh, here we are. Many player 2 kick. So play routine +1 is the command byte. So 0 is, okay, so 0, 1 is init subtune. Silence output, such as loading or set music data. I don't have to call set music data again, I don't think. We'll just do play subtune 2 and it's ta mini player play routine. It's 1. And then I think I don't actually have to call anything directly. I can just wait for the play routine to get called. That doesn't make sense, though. Maybe that doesn't. Oh yeah, I think that's how it works, because the play routine itself will change it back to 0 when it's... after it's, yeah. It sets itself up and then sets itself back so that the next time it's called, it just does the normal play routine. So all I have to do is tell it to do this, and then next time the music player updates, it will switch subtunes. Start music, or switch music. Didn't have to do anything else there. Next, I want to replace all my blinking threat warning things with an actual animated threat thing. Means I need to remember how my sprite management thing that I don't think I've actually tested with animation works. Maybe I haven't even implemented it for that matter, but basically, I can just have a loop like this one. Only x0. I want to loop through all the threat and do something. Yeah, loop through. So the map has built into it, once either whether it's loading from a file or whether it generated at that time, it's figured out, it already has the data for where the threats start and what the strength is for each of them. And if there isn't, and if there are empty threat slots, they will be have a negative value in their first byte. And so once I reach one of those, I know that it's done, and it can just and tell the sprite manager to go ahead and update all the sprites and be finished. So for the actual threat data, for the actual sprite data, we have all this stuff, but it might make more sense for me to set up the threat data first. Like we have I have this map threat start, but I don't think I have set up any variables for the current threat strength. I could just continue to use the map data though and update it there. That's just in RAM, and I don't think I need the original values for anything. And it's already basically a striped array. See, I don't really think I need separate memory for that. I'll just continue to use the map threat strength and map threat start for the current threat positions and strength and types and stuff, instead of pointlessly copying those into another piece of memory. Like I said, it seems like it would be pointless to do that. So all I should really have to do is something very similar to what I'm setting up with the warnings. And I shouldn't even have to do the positioning because I have all those are already positioned. If I just use the same everything, the colors might be different. Now let's just sprite anim mode is not going to be toggle, it's going to be frames. So we're going to tell my sprite manager to do frame-based animation on these. And then we're going to, then there's some data I need to set. So animate data 0, 1, and 2. I'm pretty sure I logged what I got to do for that. Here we are. So we animate from sprite graphics index to sprite animate data 0. Means I need to find where those are. So the first sprite pointer value is going to be this. This is actually going to be based on the type of threat it is. So later I'll make a once I have more than one type, once I have more than one type, use a lookup table here to actually get what sprite set goes for that threat type, but doesn't matter now. What namespace is this? Main Vic layout. And then we'll store that back into sprite graphics index. Right offset. And then, so okay, so we got the animate mode, we have the graphics index. Sprite multicolor needs to be set to true as well. I also need to set how many, set what the end thing is. So we animate from sprite graphics index to sprite animate data 0. So I need the sprite graphics index plus our number of frames minus 1. Plus this minus 1. Save that into our animate data 0 sprite management dot right anim autocomplete, not super reliable there. Sprite animate data 0 plus threat start x. Yeah, that. Changing every sprite animate 1 data 1 frames. So the number, how many frames, how fast this animation is. Worm sprite, frame delay. I don't think I've actually recorded that there. It might be in my... I guess it's not in my data file for that. I also wonder... Anyway, we'll save that off. Sprite and delay. I can't remember what I had it at in the tool. Worms. Yeah, I'd have to open that up in Sprite Pad to see what I had it at originally, but it's probably something like 2 or 4. 4 might be a little slow. But let's start it at 4. Now I feel like going and looking to see it. We'll just see what it looks like in the game when I get this going here. Okay, assuming this even works, since I don't think I've tested this at all. Stores its data, storing the current alien sprite animate data 2, so I don't need to do anything with that. Is that all I have to do? I think that might be it. And I just need to make my loop work. Increment our loop counter, compare it to threat count max. If it's equal to threat count max, then we're done. So if it's not equal, we loop. And if there's no more threat, we reset our sprites. And then we have more stuff to do probably after that. But in particular, probably want to do like I want to do a status message and a short cutscene sequence. But let's just see what this looks like, if it even gets anywhere yet. My little sprite manager works off of map coordinates, since that's how most of the sprites will be. Ooh, whoop. I already broke something pretty bad. My turn counter's not going down. Yeah, I could explore the whole galaxy. Woo! Pirate attack! Okay, yeah, okay, so the very first thing I did was wrong, apparently. That's back in cluster play. Arrived. Yeah. It's not equal. Threat already arrived. Threat arrived now. Threat arrived. And then, oh yeah. Well, maybe I should put that in start threat arrived, just in case for some reason I ever have a situation where threat arrives early and needs to do stuff, but then it would just be there. Yeah, I'm gonna move that. I feel like this is a dumb place for it to be. Start thread arrive. Find takes too long. Start running, start thread arrive. Thread arrive. Still have this block for all of this regular code, and I could put some back into here if I need to. And then I have some space between the map data and the I/O space for more stuff, but my current code areas are running out of space. Okay, we're counting down now, like we're supposed to. Let's just advance time here. I should just set the starting timer down while I'm testing this. There's our warning. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, there they are. I did not, apparently, I thought about setting multicolor mode, but apparently I didn't actually set multicolor mode. But the animation's actually working. That's a miracle, considering that I don't think I tested any of that code before. Speed looks okay. Its mouth isn't really visible because multicolor isn't turned on. Bright animated elements. Bright multicolor. Ah. Yeah, sprite multicolor. Why didn't that autocomplete? Oh, and the music changed. Okay. Do. Oh, I should make that a constant in the constants file. For now. Actually, this is going to be calculated at some point during map generation. I'll still make it a constant for now. Where's my constants? Luster play consts. Default tuners before equals. Make it 15 while I'm testing this stuff. Incoming threat. Detected. You. Reacher's outpost get blowed up soon. Okay, yeah, my multicolor setting is not working apparently. I don't know why you don't like... I don't know why you're giving me squiggly lines there, even if you know what I'm talking about when I hit F12, so... Whatever. So where's my multicolor setting? Now, it could be that I'm also clearing the multicolor somewhere else from before I made this sprite system. When I was just doing a whole bunch of sprite stuff ad hoc. Sprite multicolor. Oh wait, sprite multicolor is not... Okay, that's a... Okay, so sprite multicolor is not actually a... It's not an array. For good reasons, actually. So I am setting that super in a bad way and possibly overwriting part of my program. Because if I'm setting a sprite after the like third one, that I'm editing something. Well, I guess something just past cluster play variables, which might be unused. But yeah, that's wrong. Right multicolor. Arg. Garbage. I need to have it stop generating these empty engine files. I don't remember how I turned that on, though. I don't actually remember why I turned it on. I was having some problem. Oh, it was crashing on. I think I got a. I think I grabbed a not a. I was having a crash in C64 debugger, I think, and so I got a version that was built off the repository but had extra debugging stuff enabled. In order to fix rewinding, I couldn't rewind, and that was real annoying. Rewinding is still annoying because it doesn't remember your input state when it does playback, so rewind doesn't really work for a lot of things if you have input, but your sprite data. What am I looking for? Decimal stuff. Raster interrupter. It should just be in threat. Why am I not finding it in threat? Threat, ST. I have no idea why I can't see it. Unless I... Right there, sprite multicolor. I don't know. Oh, it wasn't even searching for the thing I put in the search box. Okay, fine. Right, so instead of this... LDY... percent. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're gonna start at threat sprite start. There's probably an operator I can use for this. Do one left shift 2 for that. Can I do this? I'm not sure what the kick assembler syntax for this is. But as long as all of the threat are using multicolor sprites, which they probably will, I'll just set all of them at once, and then I don't have to worry about this. Otherwise, I'd be transferring Y to A and doing a left shift and ORing it with the thing every time. But that seems like an unnecessary amount of when I'm just going to always be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to OR that with the current sprite multicolor thing. And then we're going to save that to the current sprite multicolor thing. Yeah, I'll just set the top 5 sprites to multicolor and call that good for this for now. Whoops. See, it does not like CP default turns before thread. Why not? It's in the same namespace. It's not in the same file, but why does that matter? These are both in cluster play, aren't they? What namespace is this? Is this a different namespace? Oh, this is in a different namespace, and for some reason you can't do namespaces here. There. No? Okay, how do I... Yeah, it's the namespace stuff is weird. But it should work if I... Oh, I didn't save the file. Okay, there. Now it should work. So this has put it into the global namespace, and it works if it's there. I think if I make it a label, I could have made it work. I hit build instead of build and debug. Okay, let's see what we got here. Blah, 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 blah. Where's the Vic window? Oh, actually, I didn't make enough sprites multicolor, but we'll see one that's correct and one that's wrong. I think I have it set up that the maximum number of these is how many? 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So actually the top bit will also not change. Well, that still didn't really work. Where can I set the multicolor thing from here? It's like I can't. And set the individual colors. Enabled. Pointer. Multicolor. I think, is that the actual color for the multicolor? Oh, mode, here we are. Looks like if I want to set it, I can set it through there by fiddling the actual bits, but I should just see why it's not working. Right multicolor. Oh, reset sprites clear high bit. And this sets. Okay, yeah, I have a harder reset that I need to use for this when it's actually changing those settings. And now we'll see our worms with their mouths. Do. Incoming threat detected. That's interesting. Somehow I'm cutting off a... I guess I need to move that one more over to the left. I thought I had one more line of width than I do, apparently. Yeah. Guess I gotta make it flush. Oh, but my... Wait, my rows and columns aren't drawing now. Where are my rows and columns drawing? Something weird has happened there. These are still not multicolored. Oh, nope, they are set to multicolor, but the... Oh, I see. I haven't set my colors properly. I guess I will go finally back into Sprite Pad and see what I actually intend for these colors to be. Sprite Pad, Sprite Pad, Sprite Pad. Sprite Pad 3.52. And I'll add a window capture to that row. Sprite Pad. Hey, it actually found the right window. Yay! So recently, oh, fun. It doesn't remember that I was. I don't think it's in this package. So red. Okay, here we are. So Sprite is set to color to pink instead of red. And then the multicolor value I think is already correct. D026. So see, I want pink. Pink, pink, pink. Oh, interesting. Even minimized, it still is capturing that window. That's irritating. Oh, but we can see it running in here too, in this little window. I guess I have it a lot slower on 8, so it isn't wiggling that fast. Okay, so let's change that. Well, oops, this is not. That's my bot code that I was looking at there. Okay, we'll make the animation half as fast. And set the sprite color pink instead of orange. Whoops. So we just do this, but with a different color. Orange. No. Pink. Ah, it doesn't know what pink is. Well, it's color 10, which I don't know what this thinks color 10 is, but pick assembler documentation probably knows this. Pick assembler colors. Color constants. Okay, it thinks that is light red. Okay. You know what's another name for light red? Pink. Come on, caps lock. Light red. There we go. Color number 10. That should see. Apart from my rows and columns stop showing up, which maybe I must be setting a flag in the cutscene scrolling and then not clearing it. But I thought it was working before, so I don't know. There, it's doing that and redrawing. Asteroids. Yeah, this over here, need to fix that. I guess I wanted to keep this slightly offset from there, but I guess I just need to have them smashed up against this. I have some constants I can change to fix that. The reason why this gets cut off is because I'm using scrolling, so I have it. Actually, I don't know why I don't just have it reopening the border when I'm not scrolling. So I feel like I could just have this show the screen wider when it finishes scrolling. I don't know. I could try that. Okay, incoming threat. There we've redrawn the borders. But then when we scroll, we don't redraw them. So I'm not resetting. Okay, so there's something I'm not resetting there. Okay, there's our wormies who are wormying. They will, at some point... Right now, nothing cares about those, though. Like, I can just go there because it doesn't know any better. But, they will at some point convert the sectors they're into infested sectors. They won't really be on top of anything except ion storms. But they are awful hard to see on the ion storms, too. Maybe I need to... tone down the colors on the ion storm a bit. Make it darker. I don't know. Might not matter too much, as they won't really stick around in the ion storms that much. Well, my timer is staying at 0, which is good. The color is kind of randomly changing. I'm not sure why that is. For every... Yeah, I don't know why the color is changing down here. I mean, I also need to update this to show the total threat strength instead of just a 0 at this point. Because once the turns have expired, I'm going to change this to show the total strength of all the threat at any given time. So as you fight them, it goes down, and as they... And then you can tell, without having to look at each one, how strong they are. Right. Let me fix my coordinate drawing. Because that's broken. After... cutscene stuff. Where is that? So I believe it's set up to tell the scrolling stuff, the cutscenes when they start their auto-scrolling. Start scroll to location. Post, yeah, it's telling, yeah, it's setting it to not. Show post scroll show chords. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I'm setting it back to 0 again instead of setting it to 1 like it needs to be. So then after we're done scrolling, we're going to tell it that it's okay for it to show coordinates again. Because I don't want it, like, every sector that it scrolls, when it's scrolling a bunch of sectors, to try and draw the coordinates, because then they flash on and turn off again. Because I can't display them while we're scrolling without a lot of work in order to make them also scroll, because I'd have to scroll the character graphics for the horizontal scrolling, at least. And it'd be quite weird. And they'd have to take up two characters of space then. Now, when I'm scrolling, let me look at where I'm setting the... Where's Vic dot ASM? So, screen memory, character set, X scroll. Here we are, CR2. X scroll and column select. So I want to. Where am I setting the number of columns? Looks like in the conversation I'm adjusting. I have to look and see which bits are that. C64, CR2. Ah, here we are. So that's D11, right? No, it's D16. D16. Sorry, I'm looking up some information here. D16. So we have column select is bit 3, so the fourth bit. So yeah, I'm setting that to 1. How does that work though? Because I don't remember. The setting to 1 brings us to 40 columns, or the setting to 1 make us have 39 columns? These 4 columns. C cell. Well, where else do I set this? I guess I set it to whatever X scroll is when we switch out of the dialog car set. Here, where am I initializing it though? Let's see where I'm setting this up. Maybe I'm just setting it up with a Vic X scroll. Default X scroll value is 4. Okay, should have done this as bits, but so 1, 2, 4. So normally this is not set. I don't know why I'm not keeping it at full width when we're not scrolling. Scroll value. Well, if I'm just doing a direct comparator, that's not gonna work. Oh well, no, because I'm yeah, that'd be safe enough. Figure out how I want to do this. Status display. Well, anyway, I fixed the one thing. I might experiment with my scrolling later to see if I can get that extra column back when we're not scrolling. so that I don't have to mash things together more. So it'll look weird if I have if I'm using a different color in the border than the background, but I think if I'm using the same border and background color, it will just look fine. Oh, I'm not totally sure what it puts in the... I'm also not sure what's going on here. Like, what's this? Let me look at the Vic screen debugger thing. Like, we are... Oh, my N is garbled. Some reason I'm copying the character over badly. See if I can find another... Well, that A looks fine. Oh, now it looks fine. Huh. That's weird. I wonder how I got garbage on my Nebula letter there. Great, there's those things. Also, my scrolling is continuing. My coordinates are continuing to draw, so that is fixed. Let's rewind here. Debris field looks okay. Asteroids looks fine. Meteors. Who's that nebula? Threat detected already. Where's that nebula? Right there. It looks okay, though. I'm not sure how I'm getting a slightly garbled N there. So it's just copying it from my status car set, and both those things should never be banked out or anything. I'm basically copying it from... Show the... Right, where's my... Too many things. Put you down there. Wait, where did my screen go? Oh, here's my screen. Basically, it's copying it from... just from this memory here. So I'm not sure how it got offset there. Let's see, what else is on my... What else did I want to make sure I got done? Change music, continue game. I probably do at least want to send a flashing... Draw a flashing message on the bottom, or have a scrolling message. Maybe both. Let's go to cluster play. Cluster play, cluster play. Threat, not threat already lived. Process end of turn. Since I'm doing process end of turn first, let's same its label in that same place. And then right now, and then I'll display a static message. As soon as I remember how to do that. Status. Status? Status display static message. Okay, so I need to get the string location into A and Y and the color into X. Both colors into X. I don't know if that'll work for that, but it might. And for the message itself, I need A to be the low byte and Y to be the high byte. Yay. Rival message. Y, high byte, a threat rival message. Where a good place to stash this message would be. I guess wherever. I'll just put it. Don't think we're branching past here, so I'll just put it in this spot. Check threat rival message. Screen code mixed. Threat rival imminent. Does that fit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh yeah, plenty. That'll fit plenty fine. Oh, and then I need to. Oh, but then I need to pause. Which means that this code is not good. Well, that's fine. I can start displaying this. I think the dynamic, as long as I get this in the static message buffer before this other stuff starts, it'll be fine. I can add a pause afterwards, and that would work, I think. Let's just see what it does. Construct that. Incoming threat detected with our scrolling message. Sure, let's repair this one. Repair that one. Threat arrival imminent, it's flashing. And those things appeared. And those things appeared. And then it's about time for me to end the stream. I can delay the actual appearance of these things with a little cutscene routine with my cutscene system, so that can flash for a bit, and then these things can show up. And then you won't be able to accidentally take more turns without realizing that they're here, because you'll hear the music change and stuff. So yeah, I can get that going then. Let's add set to 40. Scrolling. Or move right side status over. There's a lot of things that are like one letter too many, so it'd be nice if I did both probably and got 9 characters wide status, right side status mess area. But whatever. And then I want to show threat strength in bottom. Threat appears instead of having here immediately. Still have the static message here, then brief cutscene delay before actually switching the sprites. Okay, and the columns thing, update this to show the threat strength. Then also when threat is highlighted, show that on the right, but I'll probably do that as part of the code that does, for probably the infested system code, instead of having to figure out if you're looking at, if there is a threat in your selected system. Only have to, every time your cursor moves, just do it in the hover for the infested systems. And which have a, so all sectors have can have a separate function for that. Well, good night, CL101. I'm gonna wrap up here anyway. Show selected threat strength and right status. Yeah. And then I guess I probably am going to do a really, really basic threat combat, and then start making map generation. And, well, I guess threat combat and threat behavior, and have them start moving around and stuff. And then the map generator. And then I'll sort of have a very basic, complete core game system. Yeah, good night, everybody. And next week, I believe the plan is to do Power Rangers. Probably Power Rangers. What's my cue say? Yeah, next week the plan is Power Rangers. And then a few other things I'll have to decide between. So yeah, have a good weekend, everybody, and good night.